Tasmania's Parliament now has the numbers to pass a motion of no confidence in the state's Treasurer. Independent MP David O'Byrne has announced he will support the move against Michael Ferguson if it happens this week. Mr Ferguson has faced pressure over his handling of the rollout of 2 new Spirit of Tasmania ferries and port upgrades. An 18 to 35 majority vote is expected, which by convention would result in Mr Ferguson's resignation. The Premier, though, says the Treasurer has his full support at this stage. Let's go live to Tasmania's Opposition Leader, Dean Winter. You've just held a news conference, Opposition Leader. Can you tell our viewers what your message is to the Tasmanian Government?
G'day, Kieran. Look, we've got no confidence in Michael Ferguson, the Treasurer of Tasmania, who's overseen the biggest infrastructure stuff up in Tasmania's history. I mean, it's of epic proportions. Just for some background, these Spirits of Tasmania are already 5 years overdue, $500 million over budget, and we are about to receive the first of those new Spirits of Tasmania vessels, which combined cost almost $1 billion. And the government, the project overseen by Michael Ferguson, has failed to actually build any of the berth facilities that allow them to operate. That means for the next probably 2 summers, instead of having 40% extra capacity that helps grow our economy, brings more people to our fantastic state, the Spirits will be sitting idly either in Hobart or potentially the government's talking about sending them to Singapore to berth. So an incredible stuff up, and that's why we've lost confidence.
And you're going to move that motion to the Parliament tomorrow, that's right?
Yeah, so tomorrow we've just announced that tomorrow we'll move a no confidence motion in Michael Ferguson, and from the conversations we've had with the crossbench, we expect that to be successful. We had been calling on the Premier of Tasmania, Jeremy Rockcliffe, to do his job and hold his minister accountable for this. He's refused to do so, and instead is now prepared to go into Parliament tomorrow and have his Deputy Premier and Treasurer lose the confidence on the floor of the House, which is an extraordinary step for him to take and quite an extraordinary day for Tasmanian politics in all likelihood.
So when you say that, what would you like the Premier to do? You want him to be removed without any parliamentary vote needed, without any of this drama on the floor of the House, which isn't far from where you're standing right now?
Yeah, so we're actually, quite extraordinarily, we're still in the budget period down here in Tasmania. The government decided to delay bringing down a budget, so here we are in October without a budget passed, again due to the instability of the government, and this is actually our final week of budget scrutiny, where we should be focusing on scrutinising the budget, and instead the Premier is effectively now calling on a no confidence vote in his Deputy Premier, and that's what we'll be debating tomorrow instead of the issues that we want to debate, which is around the Tasmanian budget, the $130 million which has been cut from our healthcare system, the failure to deliver on a whole host of infrastructure projects that have been failed to deliver. So I think it's an extraordinary move for the Premier to take, but the opposition and the crossbench is supporting us in moving this.
Is there any threat, do you think, to the stability of the government itself off the back of this vote, which, as you've said at the start of our chat today, you've got the support of the crossbench now to get this done?
Look, no one wants to see an early election, including me. We only had an election back in March of this year, and so it's important that we have the stability within our Parliament. The Premier initially set out and put together a coalition agreement with the Jackie Lambie network. Those 3 members sort of disintegrated pretty quickly, and the confidence and supply agreement that they had with the Jackie Lambie network is no more, which means that the Premier currently doesn't have confidence to supply of the majority of members of the House, which means that there is inherent instability. What we've said is that we will continue to offer confidence and supply to Tasmania's business community, to workers, and we'll continue to back those industries, but we can't let this slide. This is such a stuff up that we need to hold this minister accountable.
Finally, for those viewers who are watching interstate, just to clarify, since the election you have said that Labor won't oppose the new AFL stadium. I know it generated national interest at the time of the election. Since the election you've said no, you won't oppose that. I guess there is a link here because you want the government to get back on track with its infrastructure program in order to deliver on that much anticipated stadium as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of infrastructure projects here in Tasmania that I won't go through them all that haven't been delivered. This is a 10-year-old Liberal government that's been synonymous with not delivering infrastructure projects. The stadium is really important for Tasmania. We've got a bunch of projects which are finishing up next year, and those workers need somewhere to go, and we're hoping that'll be to a stadium that not only drives jobs and investment here in the state, but also delivers us a Tasmania AFL team, which is incredibly exciting for our state and we've been fighting for 30 years. So a Tasmanian AFL team is going to be fantastic for our state, so will a stadium. That's why we're supporting building a stadium here.
Dean Winter, Opposition Leader in Tassie, thanks, appreciate it.
Thanks, Kieran.